The idea of 3D printing fountain pens and fountain pen parts is what initially got me excited about 3D printing, and now I've finally made my first 3D printed pen part. And what it is a grip section for this pen. Now, this pen is a ballpoint pen, so unfortunately, it's not really a nice pen to write with. But I like, the Pop Tarts logo on there. It's kind of fun, so I wanted to be able to use it. So what it is just a little part that screws in here, and it uses a number 2 Kaweco nib, which has threads in there. So it threads into this section here pretty easily, actually. And then it uses a standard international short cartridge, and then it just goes right together. And the cap screws on, which is why I had to use such a small nib, because there's not a lot of room in this pen to accommodate fountain pen parts. And so how I got to this final product, as you can kind of see up here, I did a lot of testing. So the first thing I had to do was to see if I can even get threads to even work in a 3D printer, or at least my 3D printer. So I just measured the threads on the original grip and just kind of copied that. And on the first try, it actually worked. And it screws right in there pretty easily. So I was pretty happy with that. So then I had to decide how to actually get a nib in here. And at the time, I did not have this nib unit. So the best nib I could think of was to use a pilot nib. So I went through a bunch of testing to figure out like the right fit. And that took quite a lot of testing to get a good fit. So I think it wasn't until around here that I actually got something that actually fits together. And was even able to get a converter onto here. So I thought in theory, yeah, that would work. I could even manage to get it to fit into the barrel. So that was promising. And so I made the final part, and as you can see, the threads broke right off because the feed is just way too big, and you can't get the strength of, like, the thickness. You can't get it thick enough to actually have the threads hold up. So I thought I kind of abandoned this project for a while until I was able to get a nib unit. And then I started trying to get that to fit. I had all of my work here before, so it was just about getting this nib unit to fit into the grip. The first test kind of fit a little bit. And then it was just a matter of getting it to fit perfectly. This one was a bit too loose. And then here I got right in between, and it fit. And I made the threads. So it actually screws in there, and of course it goes together. It screws in there. And it works. It works pretty well. But I just thought this shape didn't really go with the rest of the pen because it's a very tubular kind of simple shape, and this grip just didn't look right. So I tried different designs, and I figured I'd kind of want to go with just the very cylindrical grip here, but I modeled that and it didn't look great. It was just kind of, it made the nib look really small. But then I remembered the Muji aluminum pen has a pretty similar shape, but it has this part here, which is smaller, which makes the nib look a lot bigger. So I tried that with this, and it makes the nib look a lot more proportionate to the rest of the pen. And as you can see from all the ink here, I inked it up and tested it for a while, and it worked great. So I decided to make a black version because I liked the original black color. So then, now I have a functioning 3D printed grip for my pen. And something I did forget to mention is that with this and the pilot nib, is since there wasn't a nib collar from the nib unit, the ink actually would seep through the layers of the 3D print and would slowly leak and lose all of its ink. So I don't think that's a problem with other types of 3D printers, but with the kind I have, the layers are not waterproof, which is an unfortunate design consideration. I can't really do something that doesn't have these sort of integrated nib collars here. But yeah, now this writes just like pretty much any Kaweco pen with this nib. And it's pretty good, and I'm quite happy with it, and I'm looking forward to doing more 3D printed pen projects, potentially even 3D printing a whole pen instead of just the grip. And I'm pretty excited about that, and if I do that, I will be making videos about it. Okay, and one last thing I forgot to mention. If you know of any other YouTubers or people who have done 3D printed fountain pen projects, let me know, because I am very interested in that, and I would love to hear if you've done anything either. So yeah, let me know in the comments anything 3D printed pen related. So yeah, thank you for watching.